Falkner. Known officially as the elegant master of flying Pokemon, Falkner serves as the flying-type gym leader of Violet City in the Johto region. Falkner's status as a gym leader is quite an interesting one. As it turns out, he actually inherited both the gym and the Pokemon he uses in gym battles from his father, who is apparently traveling, so we never get to meet him. Falkner seems to have a great respect for his dad and often discusses how great of a trainer he is, even to the point of claiming that he is the single best trainer of all time. Falkner's nature as an individual is quite interesting. It seems that he's torn between being super professional and polite as a gym leader, but he does seem to have some frustration when he loses. Nonetheless, he is eager to see the protagonist succeed and always tries to guide them towards seeking new challenges, such as when he says, "Are there gym leaders you haven't battled yet? Step up, get on it." Aside from battling, Falkner also seems to have other interests such as competing in the Pokeathlon and is often seen in the Kanto region where he enjoys visiting the Celadon City department store. Canonically speaking, Falkner is the first gym leader that we face in the Johto region, and to serve as gym leader he's borrowing some of his dad's Pokemon. Given that we know gym leaders use different teams depending on how many badges the challenging trainer has, it would seem that he's borrowing his dad's Pokemon not because they're stronger than what he has, but in fact because they're weaker and can scale down to the challenging trainer's level. In fact, his Pokemon in our first gym battle with him are at the lowest levels of any gym leader in Pokemon history. Falkner has great ambitions, and it would seem that his goal is to one day surpass his father. With his poised and highly ambitious nature, combined with us only seeing him as the first gym leader with a scaled down team, it really leaves us wondering how strong he really is. Using all of his appearances in the main series games, it's time to construct Falkner's best possible team. It's time to find out his true power. The first time we encounter Falkner is of course in the Generation 2 games Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, where he serves as the Violet City gym leader. After preaching to us the magnificence of bird Pokemon, Falkner begins the battle with a level 7 Pidgey followed by a level 9 Pidgeotto, which, wait a second, shouldn't even be possible. Pidgey only evolves at level 18. Powerful as he may be, his dad has some really shady stuff going on here. Falkner is next found in the Gold and Silver remakes Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where he can actually be battled on 2 separate occasions, unlike in the originals. The first is under similar circumstances to our first ever encounter with him, where we challenge him for our first gym badge. He has the same 2 Pokemon, however they're actually at a bit higher levels this time around, with the Pidgey now being at level 9 and his Pidgeotto now being at level 13. Aside from the Pidgeotto now having Roost for recovery, the movesets really aren't all that different and the gym is still fairly easy unless Chikorita is chosen as the player's starter. However, Heart Gold and Soul Silver also gave us the opportunity to rematch Falkner in the post-game after the player obtains all 16 badges. This is quite the opportunity indeed, since it means we finally get to see a bit of Falkner's true strength, and for the first time he uses his very own Pokemon instead of borrowing his father's. If the player goes to the Celadon department store on Mondays, Falkner can be found on the 4th floor where he's actually talking to a fellow gym leader from Kanto, Janine, who we can assume might be a friend of his or an acquaintance at the very least. If Falkner is approached, he'll give the player his Pokegear phone number so you can organize a rematch at the Fighting Dojo in Saffron City. Interestingly, one of the times that Falkner calls the player, he complains about how much Janine tends to talk about her dad, and says, "It's good to have a healthy respect for your dad, but it's much better to have some self-confidence. Don't you have faith in your own abilities?" Which is thought to be quite ironic coming from him. In the Fighting Dojo rematch with Falkner, he has a brand new team of 6 Pokemon which we can assume are his real own Pokemon. He begins with a level 50 Staraptor, followed by a level 52 Noctowl, a level 52 Swellow, a level 54 Haunch Crow, a level 48 Pelipper, and finally an impressive level 56 Pidgeot. Finally, we get to see not only his own Pokemon, but some quite strong ones relative to his gym teams and a huge variety of flying-type Pokemon. But this is certainly not all that he has. The final time we can battle Falkner occurs in Gen 5's Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, where he participates in the Pokemon World Tournament. Falkner can be found battling in 4 different tournament styles, including one that most people don't even know exists, and he has 3 different teams that he rotates between. Keep in mind that the World Tournament automatically sets all Pokemon to level 50, but we can get a good idea of new additions to his collection since the events of Gen 4 and how competitively viable his Pokemon have become. He also has some highly competitively viable movesets and items on his Pokemon. In the Johto Leaders Tournament, Falkner operates by rotating between his Pidgeot, a brand new Fearow, a brand new Dodrio, his Haunch Crow, a brand new Xatu, and his Noctowl. In the Type Expert and World Leaders Tournaments, Falkner has 2 new Pokemon to utilize. He has his Pidgeot, a brand new Crobat, a brand new Aerodactyl, his Haunch Crow, Johto, and Swellow. Now in 2012 there was a downloadable tournament through Nintendo Wi-Fi which was exclusive to Japanese and Korean games called Battle of the Legendary Pokemon, which features 4 trainers, one of whom is Falkner. In this tournament we only see one new Pokemon from him, but it is an absolute game changer when it comes to assessing his true power as a trainer. Falkner starts with a brand new legendary Lugia, yes, a Lugia, followed by his Pidgeot and Noctowl. Who knew after our gym battle with him that Falkner had this up his sleeve? It's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Using all of his appearances in the main series Pokemon games, let's construct Falkner's best possible team. The first choice for Falkner's best team is definitely the most obvious. His unbelievable Lugia from his Black 2 and White 2 Battle of the Legendary Pokemon team, in which it's automatically set to level 50. However, given that this is the greatest challenge Falkner's ever faced, and all of the rest of his World Tournament Pokemon are at least level 52 in their other appearances, and time has passed since Heart Gold and Soul Silver, we can assume that this thing would be at least at level 52. Lugia is an absolute monster in competitive battling. In the Gen 7 full Pokédex metagame, Lugia is currently in the Uber tier, which is the highest tier in competitive battling, besides the Anything Goes tier, which literally just consists of Mega Rayquaza. Lugia's base stats are absolutely insane, all ranging from 90 to 154, with its defensive stats definitely being its best. With moves that Falkner has on it like Stab Psyshock, Stab Aeroblast, Calm Mind to raise its defense and special defense, and Recover to instantly heal half of its health, along with Toxic via TM, Lugia is a powerhouse and provides an amazing defensive presence to Falkner's team. The second spot on this team is going to go to Falkner's Staraptor from his Heart Gold and Soul Silver Fighting Dojo rematch team, in which it's at level 50, but we can assume that it might have leveled up since then. Staraptor is currently in the UUBL tier, meaning it's banned from the underused tier but doesn't quite make the overused or OU tier by usage. Staraptor has great base stats with a solid 90 speed and 120 attack, making it a good physical sweeper. Unfortunately, Falkner doesn't have the Reckless ability on Staraptor, which would give it a 20% damage boost on recoil moves. However, it does have the Intimidate ability to lower the opponent's attack, which is still a great one. With moves that Falkner has on it like Stab Brave Bird, along with Close Combat for coverage against rock types which are otherwise a threat to this team, U-turn for pivoting capabilities, and possibly Return or Quick Attack for more stab and or priority, Staraptor is a solid addition to this team with some good coverage and switch forcing capabilities. The third member of Falkner's best team is going to be his Crobat from his Black 2 and White 2 Type Expert and World Leaders World Tournament teams, in which it's automatically set to level 50, but like Lugia, we can assume it's closer to the rest of his Pokemon at level 52+. Crobat is currently in the UU tier of competitive battling and has amazing base stats with one of the highest speed stats in the game and between 80 and 90 on all other relevant stats, making it surprisingly bulky and powerful too. With moves in Falkner's care like Stab Acrobatics, Stab Cross Poison through level up, Roost for recovery, Taunt to prevent the opponent from using non-attacking moves, Super Fang to deal half of the opponent's HP and damage, Crobat has a great mix of functions that it can fulfill, including being a great physical sweeper, a defensive core, and or a utility Pokemon. Since Falkner has many fast sweepers already, Crobat might be a good physically defensive core paired with Lugia despite having some common weaknesses, as that's kind of unavoidable with Falkner's available Pokemon. The fourth spot on Falkner's best team is going to go to his Swellow from his Heart Gold and Soul Silver rematch team, in which is at level 52. In competitive battling, Swellow is currently in the RU tier, but I would argue is fairly underrated overall. With wicked speed and a solid 85 attack combined with great normal flying typing, meaning free normal type stab with no weaknesses since fighting is cancelled out by its flying typing, Swellow is set up really well, but it gets even better with its guts ability that Falkner has on it. If Swellow has a status condition which is automatically set up with the Flame Orb Falkner has on it, it gets a 50% boost to its attack power. Combine this with the 50% boost from the stab on Facade and the fact that Facade's 70 base power doubles if the user has a status condition, and man oh man, this is a super powerful option on such a fast Pokemon. Add into the mix Stab Brave Bird through level up, Stab Quick Attack for priority, or U-turn from level up, and this is one wicked sweeper that can cause some serious trouble. Swellow could also be run as a specially offensive variant too, which might be helpful for this team. The second last slot is going to go to Falkner's Haunch Crow, also from his Heart Gold and Soul Silver rematch team, in which it's at level 54. Haunch Crow currently stands in the RU tier and has amazing HP, attack, and special attack stats. Although its base stat spread isn't ideal, Haunch Crow does add some typing variety to this team to help against Psychic and Ghost types, which might otherwise cause some trouble for this team. With moves like Stab Priority Sucker Punch, Stab Night Slash, Stab Brave Bird, Superpower for more coverage against Rock and Steel types, and Taunt to prevent status, hazard moves like Stealth Rocks, and stat boosting moves, Haunch Crow definitely provides some much needed diversity on this team. And speaking of a bit of diversity, the final best team slot is going to go to Falkner's Aerodactyl, which only made one appearance in Black 2 and White 2 in the Type Expert and World Leaders teams, and is likely also around level 52. Aerodactyl is currently in the NU tier of competitive battling and is again a super fast and powerful Pokemon. Aerodactyl has great type coverage through move possibilities like Stab Rock Slide, Stab Stone Edge, Stab Aerial Ace, Earthquake to tackle electric and rock types, which are otherwise a huge problem for this team, and Ice Fang for opposing flying types, which rounds out this team's coverage really well. While this is definitely the best setup for Falkner's best team, he does have a couple other Pokemon that are worth mentioning but aren't quite up to par with the others. The first is his Pelipper, which is in the OU tier, but unfortunately it doesn't have the Drizzle ability. It's also only level 48 and it hasn't leveled up enough to take advantage of the amazing Hurricane move. Next is his level 50 plus Dodrio, which is quite an underrated flying type in my opinion, but it's definitely outclassed by Staraptor and Swellow in its role. Next is his level 50 Xatu, which unfortunately doesn't have its Magic Bounce hidden ability, since that thing would have been amazing for deflecting Stealth Rock, which would really save this team. Finally, his level 56 Pidgeot is a solid Pokemon, but competitively it doesn't really hold a candle compared to this team, especially without its Mega Stone. Well, there we go everyone, we have discovered Falkner's true power and unveiled his strongest possible team in the main series games. If you enjoyed this video and are looking forward to more from this series, be sure to leave a like, share it on social media, and subscribe with notifications on by hitting that bell icon if you haven't already. All forms of support help a ton and are super appreciated. Don't forget to comment down below with what trainer you wish to see featured next. The comment with the most likes will pick the trainer for the next week's episode and will be featured on screen. Before we go, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you enjoy my content and would like to support the channel and get some cool perks, the link to my Patreon page will be in the description below. This has been Spectre, and I'll see you guys next time for some more True Power.